Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Nathan.
Welcome to episode 174 of Adventures and Mousecapades.
This week, we're talking about the glory of blacksmithing. I got to do a work event this week, and we literally went to a blacksmith shop, and we turned half of a horseshoe into a knife. Like, all of us got to do it. It was so fun. I never knew this was a thing I really wanted to do, and I cannot wait to have a chance to go back. It did spark an interesting conversation with me and my team. We had a good 10-minute discussion the day before we went into this event about the definition of shiv versus shank and figuring out what exactly we were creating. For those of you who are wondering, the answer is we were creating a knife with which you could shank somebody. A shiv is improvised. And since we were going to a blacksmith shop, it wasn't improvised. It wasn't great. I mean, these are people creating things for the first time, so it's not improvised. Definitely
Premeditated improvisation?
Wow. Premeditated improvisation. That's deep. Anyway, I created a knife. It was very cool. I had a lot of fun.
I've actually shown this to my leadership team, and it may be a morale event in the future. Who knows?
Excellent.
What are we talking about today, Nathan?
Well, we just got back from a whole long trip over spring break, and this is an episode where we're going to talk about something that is not necessarily directly Disney related, but it is Disney related.
Ish.
Yeah. Inspired Disney. Yeah.
Inspired Disney.
Yes. So Sterling was spending a day at a musical theater competition, and we decided to check out the 2025 Boysenberry Festival at Knott's Berry Farm. The festival runs from March 28th to May 18th and is an annual food and drink festival that celebrates the boysenberry that started at Knott's Berry Farm.
Knott's Berry Farm is a popular Southern California amusement park in the spirit of local and regional parks you find all across the country. It's also very close to Disney. We were quite surprised at how close it was. It's not just an amusement park, though. It is a piece of California history and influenced what we know as Disneyland today.
Knott's Berry Farm started as a humble berry stand back in the 1920s, founded by Walter Knott and his wife Cordelia. They sold berries, preserves, and pies from their farm at a roadside stand in Buena Park, California. It's about 5 miles northwest from where Disneyland would be built a few decades later. The farm's big break came when Walter Knott cultivated the boysenberry.
A boysenberry is a large, juicy fruit that's a hybrid of several berries. I'm not entirely sure what all of them are, but the guess is a European raspberry, a European blackberry, American dewberry, and loganberry. It has a deep maroon color and a sweet tart flavor that makes it very popular for jams and pies and lots of other desserts. The origin of the boysenberry dates back to the 1920s when horticulturalist Rudolph Boysen experimented with crossbreeding different berries in Napa, California. Walter Knott later came across Boysen's abandoned vines and cultivated them back to health at his farm back in Buena Park.
During the Great Depression, Cordelia Knott began serving fried chicken dinners to make ends meet. These dinners became incredibly popular, drawing huge crowds. To entertain guests while they were waiting for a table, the Knotts added attractions like a replica ghost town, which eventually evolved into the theme park we know today.
Knott's Berry Farm's success caught the attention of Walt Disney. Walt and Walter Knott shared a friendship and mutual respect. Walt Disney visited Knott's Berry Farm to study its layout and guest flow, which helped him plan Disneyland. The ghost town at Knott's even inspired Disneyland's Frontierland. It is amazing how these two pioneers influenced each other. Despite their parks being close in proximity, they never saw each other as competitors. Instead, they collaborated and supported each other's visions.
Fast forward to today, Knott's Berry Farm offers over 40 different rides, including roller coasters, family rides, dark rides, and water rides. This diverse range of attractions ensures there's something for everyone, from thrill seekers to families and those of us looking to keep our feet a little more firmly planted on the ground. The park has 10 roller coasters, including heart-pounding thrillers like Ghost Rider, Silver Bullet, Accelerator, and Hang Time. There are family-friendly options as well, like Jaguar and the Pony Express.
For a more relaxed adventure, there's the Calico Mine Ride and the Timber Mountain Log Ride. And let's not forget Camp Snoopy, perfect for younger visitors with its Peanuts-themed rides and attractions. And Snoopy.
Yes.
Plus, Knott's Soak City Water Park is a great spot to cool off during the summer.
We visited on a Saturday during spring break season, and it was a busy day. The park opened at 10 a.m., and despite our best intentions, in true Novak fashion, we got there around 10:45.
I think we slept in a little.
Yes, we did. Shocker to no one. I will say the traffic was a little bit hairy getting in there. We were quite confused. The signage was lackluster at best. And we ended up kind of driving all around the whole park, doing a whole perimeter check and coming back to the entrance we should have gone in the first place. Oh, well.
There's a long line of traffic getting in there. So
yes,
it was kind of hard to tell where we were supposed to go just because of the massive cars.
Yes. And there was a second parking area, like a preferred parking lot that we were aiming to go towards. And I think if we had gotten to the park on time, we would have been okay. Looks like they closed the gate just a few minutes before we got there.
Yeah.
So we tried.
There were a lot of local school groups in the park this day, like cheer squads, choirs, bands, just dozens and dozens.
It was packed. Now, once we parked and got over towards the gate, there was this huge long line. And it wasn't really obvious, like, is this the entrance line? Is this for something else? Or we weren't sure. So I waited in line. Alicia hoofed it up to figure out what was going on. And, that was the entrance line. It did move fairly well and kept flowing. But I will say this kind of started off our day of being confused.
Yes.
There just weren't a lot of, well, let me put it this way. We are used to a Disney experience where there are cast members everywhere. There are clear signs. You will have somebody saying line starts here with a big sign kind of, at the end of the line. And as more people file in, they move back. And so it's very clear what's going on. That was not our experience from the get-go here at Knott's.
When we decided we wanted to check out Knott's, the tickets that we got, it was a Boysenberry Pass ticket. And it allowed 3 different tastings for Boysenberry foods. And we also got the Fast Pass, which I am extremely thankful that we got.
Yes.
This is an additional ticket price to go do the fast lanes, like the lightning lane or whatever you want to call it, Fast Pass. It was $74 for a single day in addition to the ticket price.
And then you prepaid for parking as well.
I did prepay for parking as well, yes.
Okay. It was all the things, all of the barcodes to scan at all the places. It was,
It was easy to get the tickets, though. Like, purchasing them ahead of time was no issue at all. It's just trying to figure out, which ones do we want to do?
Yeah.
What type of passes and tickets do we want to get?
I will say, just before we really get into it, having the fast lane was the best part of the day.
Yeah.
Because like we said, the park was slammed and a bunch of the rides we were going on had hour or 2 long waits.
Yeah.
And we were walking on. There was no line at any of the things that we went to with the fast lane. It was pretty incredible. I almost felt bad and then I didn't.
We paid a premium for it. It wasn't
Sure.
Yeah. Knott's Berry Farm also has an app, which I downloaded, and I think I had you download too, Nathan. I don't remember.
Yep.
And it's a good app. I think Disney could learn a couple of things from this app, actually. Because we were not super familiar with the park actually at all, I really appreciated the search features that they had in the app where you could search for dining places, you could search for rides. I think you can do that with the Disney one as well. But I don't think the Disney one has a navigation feature in it.
It does.
It does?
The Disney does.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like it'll do a map to where you're going?
Yes.
Okay, well then.
It will. But even then, Alicia tried to get us to a couple places.
This wasn't my fault. This wasn't my fault. This is my phone. No, I gave it to you and you're like, no, it's not calibrated right. So it's not my fault. It's the phone.
No, you're just no. I was being gentle.
Okay. I'd walk one way and I'd be going that way. And then it would turn and say, no, wait, go this way. And I'd go that way. And it's like, no, wait, go this way. I'm like, what the heck?
I love you. I think on the search feature, the one thing that Knott has that Disney does not, and where I agree with you, where Disney could borrow this, they have kind of an adventure or a
thrill level.
Thrill level, that's it, yes, on the rides.
Yes.
And you can filter by not just height, but thrill level. So if you're looking for something that is super family friendly, you've got some littles with you, you can filter out all of the big rides and just find the ones that are going to be right for your family. So, or if you are more adventurous and you want to ignore the little kid rides, you can do that too. So I think that's actually super helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. I think I used that a couple times in trying to figure out what roller coaster we wanted to go on next.
Yes. So speaking of roller coasters, that is the first thing we did. We headed over to Ghost Rider. This had a 2-hour wait at 11:40 in the morning when we got there, and we were fully intending to use our Fast Lane Pass. And so we walked up. We struggled to find where the Fast Lane entrance is because these are often not super obvious on where you need to go in. They're often not right next to the main line entrance. There are typically not cast members at the ride entrances. So another difference from Disney that could have helped us a ton. We eventually figured it out and then saw a sign that said, oh, hey, just be prepared to scan your wristband. And we said, we need a wristband?
Yeah.
And then we had to figure that all out, had to finally found a cast member, instructed us what we needed to do. We had to go find one of the main merch shops back over by the entrance and get a wristband for the day, make it back over to the ride, got on the ride. This was a lot of administrative, I think, difficulty that could have been made a lot more clear with instructions or signs or cast members or actually all of the above.
Yeah. Like when you scan in, it would have been nice if somebody at the front ticket counter place would say, hey, don't forget to pick up your wristband. I see you have Fast Pass.
Right. But no.
Or Fast Lane. Sorry. We're going to get all the terminology mixed up.
We will. 100%.
Staff, cast members, Fast Lane, landing lane, whatever.
Sure. You get it. You get it.
Yes.
So we finally got up to this ride. This is a wooden roller coaster. It is
humongous wooden roller coaster.
A gigantic wooden roller coaster. And we walked right on, scanned our pass. We were at the end of the train, I think.
Yeah.
And
maybe not the very last, but like near the end.
We were near the end. And we kind of joked to ourselves and we're like, man, this has a lap bar and a seatbelt. Like, what? Very, very interesting. Now, I will also say this is where we were first introduced to Knott's uses the cubby system like we see at Universal, where they don't want you to have anything with you on the ride for the most part. They want you to leave your things in a cubby if it's not in a pocket. No glasses, no hats, no bags, all the rest of that stuff. The cubbies are directly across from you as you enter the ride. So you typically have to have your stuff walk through the ride vehicle to the far side of it to where you're going to exit eventually, find a cubby in the mass of everybody else doing the same thing. Oh, by the way, it's also in the middle of all the people who just got off the ride finding their stuff. Like, it is a nightmare logistically. And then go backwards and get on the ride and then get buckled in. Like, they just aren't being very efficient with how the logistics of getting on and off these rides worked. But anyhow, we get buckled in, we get fastened in, and we go on. I don't know. This roller coaster just goes on forever.
It goes on forever.
I didn't write it down. I think I heard somewhere like the total track length is close to a mile.
Wow.
It's long, y'all. Like, it's almost like I should pause and figure this out.
It's 4,533 feet.
Okay. So, yeah, it's 4/5 of a mile. That's amazing. How long is the ride?
It's a top speed of 56 miles an hour. How long? It is 3 minutes long.
Whoa.
Which is long for a roller coaster.
That's long for any ride.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, join us, friends, as we search the internet along with you. But this thing was intense.
It was very intense. It was
Holy
so
crap.
awesome.
My first big roller coaster when I was growing up was at, what was it called? Riverside Park, I think. It's north of Hartford, Connecticut. Like, I think technically it's into Massachusetts. But anyhow, it was like a wooden roller coaster was my first big coaster that I went on. And I remember it scared the pants out of me when I was a little kid. This one scared the pants out of me a little bit as an adult. Like, it was intense. I was very thankful for the seatbelt because I don't think that lap bar was going to do any good, especially if we were smaller people. Yeah, there's no way that lap bar was going to keep you in that ride. It
would have gone down a lot farther. So.
True.
Yeah,
very true. But I think, if that's a 3-minute ride, I spent at least 90 seconds out of my seat from the negative G forces. Yes. It was, it doesn't go upside down. No. It is a wooden coaster, but it was intense. I think by the end of it, it was funny. I noticed this too. It's such a huge part of the park. Mm-hmm. You're by that coaster a lot. You hear screams and everything on any roller coaster, right? And on Ghost Rider, you hear everybody yelling and screaming as they go over the first hill. And then all you hear is the train going down the tracks. Yeah. Because the breath and everybody's just shocked and just trying to survive and forgets to even yell. Like, it's intense.
It's very intense.
I loved it.
I absolutely love roller coasters. I love pretty much any type of roller coaster. Nathan, you're not quite there, but you still enjoyed this.
I very much enjoyed this. When we got off, Alicia was a little shaky.
My legs were shaky.
I spent half the ride confused. I was not expecting what we got out of that ride at all. It just did not end, and I wrote down, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. If you want to go to a park or go to Knott's Berry Farm, rather, Ghost Rider, hit it. It's worth it.
Do that one first.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say in general, do a bunch of these rides first.
Yeah.
And then enjoy the Boysenberry Festival. I don't know that you want to eat and then go do some of these rides.
I would have been fine, but okay.
Oh, I'm happy for you.
We also hit the Sierra Sidewinder. It had a 60-minute wait, and it was a walk-on for us.
I will note there was one other person who got there right before us for the fast lane, and they scanned in using their phone.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, you don't need the wristband then? Like, we could have saved 20 minutes of trying to go back and find where to get a wristband.
Yeah, that was annoying.
Anyway, moving on.
So the Sierra Sidewinder, there's a couple of coasters that I've seen that have the same setup. It seats 16 people total. There are 4 people per car, and it's back to back. It's like a little round thing, and you're back to back with the people in the same car with you. And this is a rotating coaster where the cars will rotate around. It's like the Crush coaster in Disneyland Paris for the hordes of you that have been on that coaster as well.
I think it's also kind of like the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind in Epcot, in that you're sitting in a car and it spins.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying. It's not exactly the same, but in the traditional coaster, you sit down, you're facing forward, and for the most part, the train goes forward. Sometimes trains go backwards, but you're not like spinning around the central axis at all. Mm-hmm. This one, you're spinning around the central axis of your ride vehicle.
Yes, but you are back to back with the other people in the car. Sure. Yeah. I thought this was a lot of fun.
It was a thing.
Oh, you did not like this one?
I liked it. I was very nervous, and not because I still am little kid nervous about roller coasters because they just scared the pants out of me. Now I'm nervous about how my body, as I close in on 50 years old, reacts to the G-forces and everything else, and how I feel afterwards. Specifically with Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, I've ridden that ride twice. I have needed to avail myself of that bench that is right off of the exit both times to ensure I didn't hurl. So that's what I was nervous about. Like, I wasn't scared. I was just like, oh man, what is this going to do to me? I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was crazy. I did not feel nauseated by it at all. I don't know that this coaster spins you intentionally. I think it just
no, it's like
it pulls a pin and it lets gravity do its thing.
It's like Crash.
We were probably heavier than the other two people sitting behind us, because there was one kind of like really tight turn where it's a very banked turn, and we basically found ourselves for that whole turn like staring right at the rocks on the ground as it whizzed by. We were not spinning at that point. We were the anchor.
We were also in the very front of the car facing forward.
Yeah.
So we got to see everything up in front of us until it let us go at the top.
Yes. It was fun.
And then I didn't see a thing after that because it was just all whoosh.
They only run 2 trains. It takes them longer to do the load and unload process and all the cubbies and all the rest of that stuff than it does to actually do the ride, to run the train. Again, just the efficiencies on these trains at Knott's is just not what we are used to in a Disney park, or frankly even a Universal park, where they have the lockers. They have the lockers separate. Like, they're optimized to get people through. These are optimized for the fewest cast members needed, the fewest staff people needed.
Yep. Then the next roller coaster we went on was called the Silver Bullet, and it was a 110-minute wait. So just under 2 hours.
Yeah. We walked on.
Yep. Once we figured out where the heck we were supposed to go.
Oh, yeah. It took us 5 minutes to find the entrance because, oh, that's right. I remember we finally found somebody. There was a staff member at like the photo booth for the ride exit. He goes, oh, yeah, they moved the sign. It's right there. It's actually near the main entrance. I did find the sign. So there's a big gate where the entrance is for the fast lane, and the gate was open, and so the sign was on the back side of the gate, and you couldn't read it because it was facing the fence.
Yep.
Like, come on.
Yep. As we were walking up the stairs to the fast lane, we met a very nice lady who was very excited to be going on this. She hadn't been to the park since she was a teenager, and she was really excited to be enjoying all the rides again.
Yes. Her name is Sherry. The only reason I remember that is because I said, oh, like the song. And I said, I'm not going to sing it. Don't worry.
Did she even know what you were talking about?
She did. She absolutely knew what we were talking about. I will say, we are folks of bigger stature. They had a test seat before you get on the ride. We both fit, and that was great. And then we got on the ride and we didn't fit. And we're like, what? And They're like, oh yeah, like the bigger seats are only in like rows 4 and 5. Like,
And
okay.
there's one seat each row.
Right. And then it's only one seat in each row. And so Alicia was up in row 4 in that one seat.
Yeah.
I was in row 5, actually next to Sherry.
Yeah.
I like,
They had to move people around for this.
guys, come on. Like,
Well, there was there was no staff members at the fast lane. They would see you scan in elsewhere, and we're like, okay, yeah, go ahead. But nobody was there specifically at the fast lane entrance.
it's not it.
Yeah, I will say
This is where it gets it's
Yeah.
just disappointing.
I was seated next to a high schooler. I think she was a high schooler who had never been on a roller coaster
Oh
before.
my gosh.
This was her very first roller coaster.
Mistake.
And she was terrified. And her friends with her were like, it's fine. You'll be okay. She was legitimately terrified. And I was doing my best to help her out a little bit. It's like, it's scary. Yes, you will make it through this. Like, she thought she was going to die. She really did.
I
Poor
remember
thing.
feeling like that when I was a little kid looking at these big
Oh.
roller coasters, but
This was her first thing, and she was basically cursing out her friends afterwards. She's like, I'm never going on another roller coaster right again. You guys are horrible that you made me do this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you made it. You made it through. Good. You're good.
okay, so yeah, the Silver Bullet, it is a suspended coaster. This is the first suspended coaster that I have ever been on.
I think me too. I don't remember.
So this is where the track is above you.
Mm-hmm.
You are sitting basically kind of on a bicycle seat with a shoulder harness above you, or around you, and then your feet dangle once they drop the floor out from under you. So we get on this ride, and we're going up the first hill. Being hauled up the first hill, and I'm more nervous about this than I have been on anyone, because I know it's going to have like 6 inversions. It's got several corkscrews. This one I was legitimately like, I don't know how I'm going to feel after this one. I'm significantly nervous. And Alicia wasn't next to me because we got split up into different rows, and I'm just saying to myself, like, this internal voice, like, I am a strong and independent woman. I can do this. Like, man, I loved this ride. It was so fun until the last corkscrew. So you go through, you do all these inversions and loops and this and turns and all the rest of that stuff. And you do this one like corkscrew around to one side. I think it was to the left. And then you go around this really sharp turn and you do a snap corkscrew to the opposite direction. And halfway through that second corkscrew, I damn near passed out. Like I could just feel all the blood leave my brain. And like, I didn't get tunnel vision, but I got super fuzzy and just tingly. And it was like, oh boy. And thankfully that was like the very end of the ride. We, in true fashion for Knott's Berry Farm, had to sit for like 2 or 3 minutes waiting for the train in front of us to be unloaded and loaded. And it took me those few minutes to not feel fuzzy and tingly all over. And recover. So I was able to actually walk once we got to the unload zone. But oh boy, y'all, that was intense. I have somebody who works for me. He's a retired naval aviator. He was a squadron commander, flew FA-18s, backseat. And I texted him right after we got off the ride, and I was like, look, I just did this roller coaster. It was incredibly intense and all the rest of that stuff. I realize this is nothing like you have ever experienced in your former career, your former job, but it's the closest I'm ever going to get to it. And no, thank you. I am not cut out for this, but I appreciate your service and everybody else who does it. So all of those aviators out there who can handle all of this stuff, I don't know how y'all do it. And my hat's off to you. Kudos. Thank you so much. But it's not my core competency at all.
I thought this was so awesome.
Of course you did.
So the inversions on the Silver Bullet have a vertical loop, a cobra roll, a 0G roll, and 2 corkscrews.
Yeah. It's the corkscrews that got me.
The cobra roll, I didn't know what this was. It's a combination of a vertical loop and a roll, which creates a more complex and intense inversion.
Oh, yeah. You start off like on an inside loop and it like corkscrews 180 degrees and all of us at the top, and then you're on the outside of the loop.
It was so fun.
Yeah, it was cool.
And I can tell. Yeah. And after this, you said, we're not doing any more roller coasters.
I said, I'm not doing any more roller coasters. I looked around and I noticed that there was a horse-drawn like stagecoach wagon. I was like, that's next for me. That is the next ride that I will intend to be going on. Unfortunately, the horse rides were like over and it was like an hour wait or something like that. So we didn't get to do that. But I was ready to go on a stagecoach after.
It's the only ride in the park that does not offer fast lane.
The stagecoach.
The stagecoach.
Yes.
I was fine with going on a stagecoach too, but we didn't get to do that, unfortunately.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. There are a lot of other roller coasters there that we just did not get to go on.
Oh, no.
Yes, I will have to grab our daughter when I want to go on coasters, it seems like, because neither you nor Sterling are interested in roller coasters like this.
Look, I tried.
I know. You did very well. And you quickly decided, nope, that's it. I'm good. Thank you.
I'm just old and broken at this point.
As am I.
No. You're young and sprightly.
Okay.
You're just better than me, and we all know it. There. I said it in public.
I'm still old, and I'm still broken. That's okay.
Okay, but you're still better.
Whatever.
Yes. Well, let's move on. What did we do next? So we couldn't go and do a stagecoach ride.
We couldn't do the stagecoach. We tried to get on the train, but that was confusing.
Yeah, and that wasn't that like spent the next hour not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what was going on there.
So we went on the Calico Mine ride.
Yes.
Which was a thing.
This was the one that you couldn't figure out how to get to, even though you had a moving map on your phone.
Yeah.
But we eventually figured it out.
Gosh.
This was a thing. I mean, it's super old, kitschy animatronics and going through a mine setup, and
you're in a mine car, which is kind of cool. The little train setup in there was kind of neat, though.
Yeah, it was a thing.
Yep.
Low on the thrill scale.
Very low on the thrill scale. And it had a little bit of a malfunction. Not malfunction. It had I don't know, went down a little bit while we were there. All the lights turned on inside the mine, and I was like, oh, I don't think we're supposed to see all this stuff.
Yeah.
The people are green. That's weird.
I don't know that we got on any other rides.
Nope, that was it.
We had some other stuff that we needed to do. We couldn't stay there like till park close.
Yeah.
So we moved on to enjoy the Boysenberry Festival, a part of our day. And so let's talk about some of the foods. First up, we got a cheese stick. And it was interesting.
It was a big hunk of cheese on a stick covered in corn dog batter.
Yes. It also took 35 or 40 minutes to get it.
Gosh. Yeah. Like they do not have this down to a science at all.
No, like the line was moderately long, maybe 20 parties, and they were cooking things to order.
Yeah.
At a theme park that's full on a Saturday. Like there's only I think there was 3 things on the menu at that place. Like you could do this cheese stick, you could do a corn dog, or I think there was one other thing. Like, guys, have stuff going. It was, and the cheese, it was just too big. And then because they were trying to rush through cooking stuff, like it didn't really get super melty.
Yeah.
It was, neither of us are a super big fan of sweet corn dog batter, and we weren't necessarily expecting it to be a corn dog dipped cheese stick. So now It did have a drizzle or a dip, I forget what we had, of the boysenberry sauce.
Yeah, I asked for it on the side.
That was good.
Yeah.
And that helped for sure.
Yeah.
Boysenberry's good, y'all.
It's very good. The cheese stick, if it had been like the traditional fried mozzarella batter,
Yeah.
whatever they have on the outside, that would have been devoured.
That would have been amazing. It was not that.
Even though it wasn't melty. No, I just kind of cut into it and took the cheese out.
Yeah.
They do have, thankfully, a lot of tables around for people to sit during the festival.
Not over by the cheese stick station. Though.
No, not over by the cheese stick station.
And people were being
People were being people.
people. Were being people.
Yep.
A lot of these big scroll groups, folks were just camping out and taking up huge swaths of seating for the whole day, and not sharing even if they weren't using. So
Yeah. I was very much a find a table and see if there's an empty space and ask if I can sit. Because
I
nobody's
got
sitting
kicked
there.
out of 2 places,
Yeah.
even with nobody sitting at a table. They're like, "We're holding that." I'm like, "You're like
Too nice.
me?
Yes.
Sorry."
Mm-hmm.
Win some, you lose some.
Mm-hmm. The next thing we had food-wise was boysenberry barbecue beef tips over mashed potatoes garnished with green onions.
Oh,
This
so good.
was very good. Slightly sweet, savory, and tangy. There's a little bit of heat from the pepper, but it was just like moist and falling apart for the beef tips.
Yeah.
Perfect pairing with the mashed potatoes.
It was so
Mhm.
so good.
Mhm.
If you and Caitlin want to go around and hit all of these rides, I will go around and eat all the food.
But I want the food too.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what? You can test it out for us and then
Oh.
figure out the best ones.
Got it.
And then we'll come back later and get some of the best ones. But we also still have to have the chicken because we didn't have the fried chicken.
We didn't have the fried chicken. Honestly, folks, there's an outside restaurant. Well, there's a restaurant that kind of you can get to from the outside of the park. You don't have to have a park admission that serves a lot of like the fried chicken and a lot of this other stuff. There's also a bakery where you can get some of the snacks that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. I think it would be worth swinging by and picking up some of the stuff or sitting down for a chicken dinner because holy cow, the food here
It
is
smelled good.
really
Yeah,
good.
the food's really good. I also earlier in the day tried a mango berry smoothie, and that was absolutely delicious. It was frozen because, smoothie or whatever you want to call that. So it was a little cold.
As written.
Took me a while to drink it. I had to finish it so we can get onto the Sidewinder. But it was still very delicious. The mango and the boysenberry mixed together. Just
Yes.
absolutely stellar.
I had a boysenberry blonde ale, a beer. It was good. It was, I don't know. I don't think I had an aversion to the boysenberry. I just didn't like the bite on this particular brew of ale. It's probably not something that I would try again, but it wasn't horrible.
Yeah. I also had a boysenberry cosmopolitan. This was very good, and I was very happy in my choice.
Yes.
Nathan, you said it tasted like swamp juice.
It did. And this is my college days shining through, but it was really, really good. It was fantastic. Just nice and sweet. And I do mean it tastes like swamp juice in the best possible way. We then moseyed over to the bakery and enjoyed a few desserts. Well, we enjoyed one in the park and then we got one to go. We got a boysenberry brownie. This has got to be one of the most dense brownies that we have ever sampled.
Broke our forks.
Exactly. Our fork became a thork. our plastic forks lost a tine. It just has this caramel layer in there. It's just super dense, and the chocolate's super dense. It has a boysenberry drizzle on top. a little bit of whipped cream when it's served. It's so good. It was incredible. Well worth it.
This was a salted caramel brownie with whipped topping and boysenberry jam. It was very good.
Mm-hmm.
I also got a boysenberry and chocolate chip loaf because I am a sucker for any chocolate chip loaf type thing. It was very good. I didn't eat it then. We took it home to eat later.
Yes.
Or took it back to the hotel to eat later. And I I heated it up just a little bit and chef's kiss. That was really, really good.
I did the same thing with the peanut butter cookie. This is I don't know, it's probably a 5-inch round peanut butter cookie with boysenberry jam infused like in the middle of it. It's basically a PB&J instead of a sandwich. It's a cookie.
Yeah.
It's the most intense but good like peanut butter flavor out of a peanut butter cookie I've ever had. Sometimes they get a little bit more, I don't know, they have like a bite on them or almost taste like burnt. I've had off of some peanut butter cookies where they just overdo it. This was so well done. It was so just gooey, and the blend between between the boysenberry, yeah. Between the boysenberry and the peanut butter in the cookie was just delightful. And again, I had this a couple days later and threw it in the microwave for like 10 seconds, and it it was
good stuff.
It was amazing. I was very, very, very happy with that choice. The food here of the day just really shines through for me, other than that cheese stick, which was just insane.
That actually wasn't on the tasting menu either. That was like a separate purchase.
We're like, oh, hey, we'll just get a little snack. Yeah, that was neither little. Yeah.
It did come with French fries too, so that was nice.
Sure, but you don't need like.
Yes, you do. If it's done right, you need that much cheese.
Agree to disagree.
Okay. We should also know that there's basically like a craft fair going on at the same time as all of this. As part of the Boysenberry Festival, they have vendors, local craft fair vendors will come and set up little booths and sell their wares. And there's some really, really cute things. There's like a crocheted Boysenberry hat, a purse, just lots and lots of little stuff.
And that crocheted boysenberry hat was a crocheted boysenberry pie hat.
Yes.
Like it had like crisscross hatched like pie crust across like a boysenberry colored knit cap. And I would like to formally apologize to my mother because I didn't realize that was only available at one of those little booths. I tried to pick one up in the merch shop, but we were already outside of the park, and it was only available from that private vendor. So, Mom, I'm sorry, and I still love you.
It was really cute.
But I will say we did pick up some boysenberry jam to bring back to a few folks that we know and love. So, Mom included, look out, because boysenberry is coming our way very, very soon. All right, Alicia, overall, Knott's Berry Farm. What's your thoughts and impressions?
It's kind of like the Walmart of theme parks.
Agreed. I love that characterization. It's not Macy's. It is a budget-friendly place where you and your family can have a great time. But it is very budget-friendly. And I think the experience that you get reflects that.
I think if it wasn't as crowded as it was, we would have had a different and better experience.
Yeah.
This was probably like an 8 or a 9, or maybe even a 9 or a 10 people-wise.
Yeah, in term out of a scale of 10.
Yes.
How busy the park was. Yeah, it was slammed.
It was very busy.
Slammed.
And there was a lot of teenagers around that were not very, what's the word, cognizant of their surroundings and people around them.
Yeah. They're being teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we had been able to do this like midweek, not on a spring break week where the park's going to be super busy, I think we could have done a bunch more and enjoyed it a lot more. And a lot of that would be not having, even with the fast lane stuff for the rides, we were still waiting in ginormous lines for food. And another thing, I never figured out what it was for, but there was a queue for customer service in kind of the main central area of the park that existed all day long. That was no joke, like 100 to 150 people deep. I don't know why so many people needed to go to see customer service, but holy cow, that was not a good look.
There was a lot of people there. It was all day. It was an area that we went by multiple times. So we saw it in the morning, pretty much right when we got there. There was already a line. It wasn't that long. Then it wasn't like it was later in the day, but we went through that area probably 3 or 4 times total. And I don't know what it was.
I don't know. I almost stopped to ask, but I couldn't find a cast member. So I think that's the other thing. Like there are cast members everywhere when you go to a Disney park or when you go to a Universal park, and it's just a heck of a lot more sparse. And you get what you pay for. This is not as expensive of a ticket, and there's a lot of fun stuff to do. There's a lot of great food, but it's a discount theme park compared to what we're used to. At least.
Compared to what we're used to, yes. I would love to go here during the Boysenberry Festival another time, maybe later in the festival, like last couple of weeks in May or something, or last couple of weeks of the festival in early mid-May. Hopefully the spring break crowds are done by that time. And go midweek and be able to, I don't know, just really enjoy the food and go on rides, have fun. Enjoy the food. That's a big thing. I want to enjoy the food. And not be shoulder to shoulder with people too.
Right. We are ironically theme park fans who don't like being around a lot of people. So that is our lot in life.
We are snobby.
No, we're just introverted.
Okay. And snobby.
And well, we're not snobby, we're bougie.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, thank you for joining us on this little rant and rave about Knott's Berry Farm. Remember, we are not affiliated with Knott's or their subsidiaries. These are personal opinions and suggestions based on our own experiences. We recommend working with a travel agent or contacting your park of choice to plan your perfect vacation.
If you have questions or suggestions or would like to be interviewed on our show to share your experiences, please send an email to podcast@ourmousecapades.com.
You can follow us on socials. We are at Our Mousecapades. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and YouTube.
Please give us a rating and review in your podcast app. 5 stars is awesome. Give us those comments. We love to see it, and it really helps people find us.
And of course, don't hesitate to share us with your friends and fellow Disney lovers of all ages.
Thanks for listening. We'll be in your ears next week.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.